What's going on, everybody? Tucker Bagley alongside Eliot Shorr-Parks, braving the heat down there in Tampa Bay at Raymond James Stadium. And, there was a lot of talk this week about the Eagles not being able to beat the Buccaneers, struggling against them 1-4 in Nick Sirianni's time with the Eagles. And, Eliot, I don't want to go big picture for a halftime pod, but it kind of feels like another test that Jalen Hurts has just beat, right? Like over the last year and a half, when we talk about Jalen Hurts silencing doubters and overcoming things that maybe we thought he wouldn't be able to, beating the Bucs was another thing on that short list, right? Like beating Todd Bowles,
Yeah.
beating the Blitz, beating Tampa Bay. And right now he's 15 to 16, 130 yards, 2 touchdowns, has a passer rating north of 140. And I believe I saw on Pro Football Focus, he's been blitzed 9 times. He's 7 of 8 for 56 yards, 2 touchdowns, and also scrambled for a first down as well. I mean, the offense right now, and we'll talk about the defense too, just everything that we've wanted to see from them, we've seen so far in the first 30 minutes.
Yeah, they've been unbelievable. And to your point, I do think this feels like a statement performance by the Eagles. Now, it is halftime, so I'll agree with you. I'll caution to go too big picture here. The post-game pod is maybe we can do a little more about what this means. But I just think in the first half, you saw an Eagles team that came out here that heard the talk all week, right? I don't know if they heard that the Buccaneers were laughing at them about how early they came in to beat the Heat, but they're playing like a team that knows the Buccaneers were laughing at them. I mean, you talk about Jalen Hurts, and you're right. He's been unbelievable. This isn't saying a ton considering how the first 3 games have been, but this is the best he's looked since the Super Bowl. I think he's looked better than he did in the second half last week, just because this feels like a more sustainable, offensive game plan execution thing, as opposed to last week was just kind of running hurry up. But we will talk about Jalen, and I'm not overlooking Jalen. But for me, the player of the first half is Quinyon Mitchell, because I think Quinyon Mitchell came out and he played with the attitude that the whole team is playing with. I mean, you can tell looking down from the press box. I don't know if it comes across on TV. This team is angry, and this team is playing with anger out there. I can already guess in the post-game locker room what they'll be saying. They'll be making jokes about how it wasn't that hot. They'll be saying, I can't believe people thought that, they struggle in Tampa. That's the attitude they're playing with. And I think Quinyon Mitchell has really personified that. It's been a pretty surprising how much they've gone after Quinyon. He's gotten 4 or 5 targets his way, which is not what you normally see for a player of his caliber, but he has absolutely made the most of those targets. He is not shying away from it. Their plan to go after him is not working. And I love, look, I understand the personal foul thing. That's something they have to work on. They got another one today. Jalen Carter there at the end kind of gives them 3 points. A bit of a rough call, I guess, but regardless, gives them 3 points. But the way Quinyon is playing, I'll trade one 15-yard penalty in a game to get my CB1 in the face of the Bucs quarterback, in the face of their franchise left tackle, and just not backing down. So I think the team has played with a toughness, and it's very different than the last time we were here. I remember the last time we were here doing post game pod and halftime pod, basically being like, this is embarrassing. Today, you're seeing a much, much different team out there. And I think the attitude of the team so far in the game has been really, really impressive.
Yeah, I mean, you talk about how often he's been targeted. You look at who's been targeted. He's been targeted 4 times, has 1 catch allowed for 1 yard. Cooper DeJean's been targeted 4 times. He allowed that long catch to Ibuka on the sideline. And then, Keely Ringo was targeted once, and that was on a pass to the running back, kind of out of the backfield where he was close. It's really interesting how Tampa Bay hasn't tried to attack Keely Ringo at all. They've attacked the bigger names in the Eagles secondary and to not much success. And maybe that's because Mike Evans isn't there and they don't really feel comfortable with the depth they have at wide receiver. But I mean, you just look at what this defense has done. They're allowing just 3.1 yards per play. And Tampa Bay's only, impressive drive, which was that field goal drive in, the first quarter. They had 12 plays, 30 of the 48 yards they picked up were via penalty. They had 18 yards on 12 plays of offense or 12 offensive snaps. I mean, what the defense has done, you mentioned how physical they've been. It comes across on TV, how quickly they are, how they're attacking. I mean, Bucky Irving on that last tackle by Jahad Campbell, that was a clean hit. There was nothing dirty about it. There was nothing really inherently violent about it. And he was down on the ground for, a good 30 seconds to a minute just trying to catch his breath. I mean, the Eagles clearly have been the aggressor on both sides of the ball so far.
Yeah, it does feel a little bit like the Eagles are beating them up, right? Like you mentioned that hit by Jahad Campbell. It feels like they've had a few big hits. Keely Ringo missed 1 tackle, but outside of that, I thought they've tackled really well. I thought that play by Jahad Campbell, for what it's worth, this is a small takeaway, but really shows off how long this dude's arms are. He just completely wrapped his arms around Bucky Irving on that tackle. But, let's talk about the offense a little bit too, because, well, actually first, we're probably burying the lead here a little bit. You want to talk about setting the tone. The special teams comes out, has a blocked kick for a touchdown. The celebration between Nick Sirianni and Michael Clay on the sideline. Like, I hope the camera showed it because they were going crazy. Cam Latu with the block. Cam Latu also with a really big block on the Goddard touchdown. So he's been outstanding so far.
He's
So
been quite a player the last couple of weeks.
He really
They
has
brought him
been.
up in the practice squad. He's been everywhere.
He really has been. You wonder, if that would have been the Ben Van Sumeren role. So you feel a little bad for Ben knowing he could be out there. But Cam Latu has been awesome without question. But outside of the special teams, let's talk about what I see the majority of on Twitter. And who knows what the majority of fans are thinking. But Kevin Patullo. Now, my Patullo take, I'll echo this on post game, but I think it might surprise some people. Like, for me, the story is not Kevin Patullo. For me, the story is the players and the way they're executing. Like, all the past 3 weeks, I've been saying it's not Kevin Patullo, it's player execution. Like, he is calling the plays, the players are not executing. So it would be hypocritical for me to come on today and be like, look at this amazing job by Kevin Patullo. The players deserve credit. The players have gone out there, they're executing the plays. Those shovel passes are not easy plays to run. You have to have all 11 players on the same page to run them. Jalen has been unbelievable. Like, yes, Kevin Patullo deserves credit for the fact that he's the coordinator and him and Jalen do this together. But Jalen is the one pre-snap that picks a lot of the plays. Jalen is the one that decides where the ball goes. And I thought one of the first plays of the game was a super encouraging sign for the day. And it wasn't even a completed pass. It was a deep throw to AJ Brown 1-on-1. And again, it's not completed. It's incomplete. But all week the players talked about being aggressive. So I thought early on, Jalen being aggressive and throwing it to AJ deep was a really, really good sign of just the mentality of the team coming into this game. And so Kevin Patullo, of course he's been good. Like, the shovel passes have been good, the play calls have been good. But I lean towards the players and Jalen on giving them credit because I think they've done an unbelievable job. Look, we're almost 7 minutes into this halftime show. We haven't talked about the Heat. Really, outside of the Buccaneers laughing at them about it. They don't look tired. They don't look like their deal. They don't look like the Heat's impacting them. If anything, they're the more physical and lively team out there. So I think the players deserve like a ton of credit for this big halftime lead.
Yeah, I mean, and it's kind of a team effort, right? But I think it's pretty apparent when you look at how Jalen Hurts has been successful against the blitz, something that, has really given him trouble in his career. You can credit Kevin Patullo for, calling plays and giving him options to beat the blitz with those quick slants and with some of the perimeter passes that he has. And you can also credit Jalen Hurts and the wide receivers for getting open and making quick decisions. I mean, this is something that has really plagued this offense the last couple of years. And
100%.
He's been calm. He's been, very decisive, and he's 15-16 right now, 130 yards. I mean, this offense right now is operating with incredible efficiency. They're averaging 7.2 yards per play. It was over 8.5 before that final drive, which would be like historic numbers franchise-wise. But what you've seen from the offense to build this 18-point lead, I mean, just think about what we've seen in the last 4 quarters, right? Go back to the second half against Los Angeles. They're, 50-6? They've outscored 2 teams that you expect to be in the postseason. I mean, this is the Eagles team that we thought we would see.
Well, so first of all, I feel like you had a tweet lined up that didn't end up going to fruition based off that historic number. I feel like you had a little something cooked up. Yeah, that you were ready to go.
If you want to know, most yards per play in Eagles history was the Nick Foles 7-touchdown game.
Oh, that's not surprising. So how about this before we, it's funny. This feels like a post-game pod. It is worth noting. Like, they don't score at the end of the half, or they do get the field goal at the end of the half there, but the Bucs do too. Eagles get the ball to start the third quarter. They score a touchdown there. I think it's effectively over. But, still an entire half. The Heat, if you want to say it's going to impact them, I think in the second half is probably where you would see it more. But the last thing I'll say, just for how good Jalen has been, and this is according to the Eagles PR staff, Jalen Hurts over the last 4 quarters, 32 of 40, 339 yards, 5 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, and a passer rating of 141.6. So it's very simple. Like I've always said, when Jalen's awesome, this team's awesome. And Jalen has been awesome. Now we'll see if they can finish it off in the second half.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully it'll be an easy second half, maybe a little less drama than last week's second half, that's for sure. But once that second half is over, Eliot will be back, James will be here. They'll go over everything that happened today in Tampa. Hopefully another Eagles win, but that'll do it for us at